Well, breaking his silence after the RLD and the Samajwadi Party alliance failed to do well in the UP elections last week, we're joined now by RLD Chief Jayant Chaudhary. Jayant, thanks for speaking to us today and talking about what happened in UP. Your party contested 33 seats. You won 8 in Western UP. I know you're disappointed, although it is a better performance than last time. What do you think went wrong, particularly with so much anger over the farmers' agitation in that area?
Well, elections are a complex thing to understand. There is a big mandate given to BJP. There is no doubting that. We had wanted to win the big seat. We were unable to. But there are many positives from these outcomes. For us in RLD, yes, we've gone through a very tough period over the last 2 or 3 election cycles. And we have won 8 MLAs. We won quite a few seats with very small margins. So there is a lot of work to be done. Our representatives need to be very active. We need to strengthen our organization. But then, this election I found that we went with a positive narrative. We ran a very aspirational campaign. We did not let our campaign from the other issues that came into the campaign from time to time. And I think that is something that has given us a lot of strength. For our young voters, our young workers, that I saw throughout the campaign, there was a level of RLD IRA touched a nerve with a lot of people. So those are the sort of things that we need to build on.
Jayant Chaudhary, what would you say worked for the BJP in these elections? There was massive anti-incumbency. I was talking about the farmers' protest earlier. You had the COVID mismanagement. Unemployment has been a big issue. So was it just polarization, or would you concede it was much more than that for them?
Well, their politics has been based to a large extent on the othering of the marginalized sections. There is no doubting that. Their campaign started from Kairana. So they did work on that theme. And while I will say that we got a lot of credit for our positive campaign, and we were able to combat the polarization on the ground, as you can see in this belt from Muzaffarnagar to Baghpat, where the farmer agitation also held sway, and where Hindu-Muslim polarization tricks did not work. A lot of the ambassadors of the riots or people who were involved in those sort of issues have lost this election. So we were able to defeat a lot of those people who spewed a lot of hate, which is a win. But I think more than that, BJP was able to connect on a lot of issues. Politics is about ideas. We believe that our campaign was based on the right set of ideas, but there were some communication issues. We were not able to take our message to the people. And I think when you run a month-long campaign, I think there was some fatigue as well that set in. It is for the Election Commission to also think about these issues. When you run political campaigns for so long, when you run elections over such a long period, it takes a lot of money, resources, muscle power to sustain the campaign. And BJP has a lot of leadership that they've built up over the years.
Sure, but
they have the machinery to fight at every.
Would you concede that part of the problem is that the opposition tends to start its campaign a little too late, just a few months before an election, while the BJP is kind of always hitting the ground running?
Well, we've been campaigning, 24/7. We, as RLD, we organized a number of Kisan Panchayats. And if you look at the traction that the campaign received when Akhilesh started his Rath Yatra, I don't think that it was a failure to connect. There was an emotional connect. But somewhere, of course, our cadres were not able to take the message to people beyond our reach. It's not just workers who vote, it's the voters. And you have to convince them, you have to cajole them. They were angry with BJP, there was anti-incumbency, but I don't think that anger was enough that they would change their vote. Perhaps they decided that BJP should be given another chance.
So Jayant Chaudhary, looking ahead then at 2024, do you think it's a done deal like the Prime Minister says, or is there really going to be a fight when you have Mr. Modi on one hand and the rest of the opposition on the other? Doesn't it make it much more difficult for the opposition?
Every election is different. Politics is dynamic. Politics is about issues that are current, contemporary, forward-looking. If the opposition can organize itself and create a coherent, sort of set of issues, and we go with that to the public and hit the road, there is no reason why people who voted for BJP today will not change.
But
if you look at the state of the economy, look at unemployment, look at agrarian distress.
But it won't matter that in a personality contest there are just too many people in the opposition camp and only one Narendra Modi.
It's good to have a number of leaders. Even BJP has a lot of leaders. They make it about just one man. It isn't about one man. Governments are not run by one man. And so I think we need to counter them. There will be a lot of anti-incumbency. There are a number of MPs who have won, who are part of BJP, and people are dissatisfied with the MP's performance. We need to target them on localized issues. We need to target them on national policy, and there will be a way. As for RLD, I want to create a new organization. I have no baggage, and therefore I invite a lot of younger people and more women into our fold. So that's my plan.
Well, that's a good message to end on. Jayant Chaudhary, thanks very much and all the best to you. Thanks for joining us.